Friends, hello, hope you are well. I am drinking the Kool-Aid when it comes to Palantir, and I think a lot of us are. There's a reason why everyone's talking that Palantir is going to be the $1 million maker stock, because it is, and you live in a day and time right now in the world where you can look back years from now and go like, oh my God, I was in the beginning stages of Palantir before it really took off. And that is no joke. I'm not trying to gaslight you whatsoever, lie to you, nothing. I'm not trying to make this a FOMO video. This is legit. This is the real deal. This is a stock. This is a company that is... Frankly, we don't know what the top's going to be. That's why it's got everyone's attention, because we don't know when and if it is going to settle. We just don't know. But we do know that 50 is coming. 50 is coming very soon. And obviously, when I say 50, I'm talking about like by these quarterlies here in a week and a few days at this point for the Q3 quarterlies. Now, with these quarterlies, we'll get to those in a minute, but this is why you're seeing everyone talk about, is Palantir going to 100? Is it going to, 500, 700, $1,000? Everyone has different speculations. Even Tom Lee's talking about, he thinks Palantir is going to do crazy numbers. There's just a lot of people that believe this stock is not going to be stopped. And I don't want to harp on too much about what I've already said about Palantir, but I've talked about how Alex Karp has been giving these interviews, and there's only so much he can say to the general public without getting in trouble with the FCC. But he's essentially indicating like, hey, I'm leaving you breadcrumbs here to say like, hey, we got some things coming, some big things coming. Can't tell you when, can't tell you what, but there's some things coming here. So you need to pay attention. And we've seen CEOs do this a lot. Seen him do it a lot. We've seen NVIDIA CEO. We've seen SoFi CEO. Elon does this quite a bit. He used to get in a lot of trouble for it, but he would do it. So we've seen this stuff. Now, Palantir has hit this all-time high here. We hit 43. Right now, Palantir is trying to get back to a $43 bid price. And we're probably, and more than likely next week will be a really hot week for Palantir, because after that, then we're getting into quarterlies. Here. The question is, when we get to these quarterlies, will Palantir already be at like $47-$50 at that point? Because it's going to run up here, because people, the closer it gets, they're going to be like, okay, I'm just going to buy, because I don't want to miss what's coming. Maybe Palantir is going to go to 70 next, in the next 2 weeks. Maybe it's going to do that. I don't want to miss out. So this is when we start to see the FOMO. This is when we start to see, people that didn't buy enough, or they just like, I want to buy more. And this is when volume gets pushed, the stock price gets pushed, everything just starts getting crazy here. But these quarterlies are so important right now because they're holding such a high number right now. Palantir is sitting at, we'll just call it a $40 share price. Now, buying a $40 share price, okay, these quarterlies need to back that up. Now, most of us seem to think they're going to back it up, and that's why I've talked so much about these interviews that Alex has been giving, where he's like said like, hey, we're undervalued. Things are coming up here. I'm just kind of letting you know, encouraging you / warning you. You could be making a huge mistake if you're not paying attention to us right now. These are like the same conversations that people were having, 3-4 years ago with NVIDIA. I remember 3-4 years ago, everyone was talking about NVIDIA, giving the same rhetoric as I'm giving right now, where it was like, this thing's gonna go crazy. It was already going nuts at that point, but no one could have fathomed what was going to continue to happen with NVIDIA, and NVIDIA's still going crazy. That's a whole nother conversation. Now, obviously, for the person that's already writing the comment, I know these are two different companies, two different situations. I get that, but I'm saying just the zeitgeist, the rhetoric with it, what we see similarities, because a lot of stocks, they have similarities, even if they're different companies, what they do, the bread and butter basis of what they are. You do see a lot of the same things run on the same kind of FOMO, what's going on in the air with them. Palantir is acting no different now. It's running hard right now because people don't want to miss the boat. So Palantir being at $40 right now, 2 weeks from now, this could be at $50. That's a very possibility, big possibility. Now, with these quarterlies right now, we're seeing huge volume being pushed every day. The sell-off this week that we have with Palantir didn't even go to $40. We didn't even touch $40 this week. We didn't even get back down to $30 this week to a high 30. I was even thinking like we might see 38 this week. We might see a nice little sell-off. It never came. It never showed up. We stayed above 40 all week. Really crazy. And that's really good. Now, obviously, with Palantir hitting these next quarterlies, everyone is watching right now, because for them to continue at this $40 mark and get into a $50 to $60, maybe $70 range here with share price, they need face melting quarterlies here. They don't just need like a 5-10%, over the expectations here. They need like a 20-40% over the expectations here. Now, are they going to get that? They might. We already know publicly about some pretty big deals here with what Palantir has already had. And that's where those, expectations come from when these stock analysts, release what they think, Palantir is going to have here. But when a company just like bypasses that and they come out with, just crazy quarterlies, like we've been seeing with Nvidia this year, this is what makes stocks get so expensive. I mean, this is what really drives them up. So this is why a lot of people are paying a lot of attention to Palantir right now, because they're going like, well, if they come out with like even 25 to 35% over what the expectation is here, Palantir could get a lot more expensive here. And what if 3 months from now, buying Palantir at $40 was cheap, and 3-4 months from now we're looking at I don't know, 70. Now, of course, when I say that, there's people going like, yeah, totally agree, that could happen. We've watched what's happened with a lot of these other AI companies, and I've only mentioned Nvidia. There's plenty of other AI companies that have been doing insane things here as of late, especially this week and last week if you've been watching. So like these AI companies, we can't trust what they're going to do. They make their own path, they make their own road. So I think it's insane when people leave comments and say like, Palantir is not going to do that much, it's just a hype stock. People, they just get overwhelmed with these AI stocks. Why do you think we get overwhelmed with these AI stocks? Because they're breaking records nonstop. This has been the biggest year for AI stocks, breaking quarterly records for companies, for God's sakes. I mean, have you not been watching what's going on? And when people say stuff like that, I don't get mad. I just go like, okay, they don't know. They're not as obsessed with the market and companies as I am. That's okay. I realize I have a problem that I'm obsessed with this stuff, and maybe you're not. I get it, but that's probably why I have a YouTube channel where I won't shut up about this stuff. But I'm telling you, I'm relaying the message to you like, hey, there is no rules here with what's going to happen with Palantir. Could Palantir come out with some crazy quarterly here in 2 weeks? Of course they could. Of course they could. And then guess what? You're worrying about $40 a share? It might be $55 a share, $50 a share, where that'd be the best you could hope for. So friends, I think it's insane to look at Palantir right now like on a candlestick chart, because it doesn't make sense. Palantir's volume and movement right now is so fast. We know it's going to continue to go up into these quarterlies. And even on the downside here, let's just say Palantir comes out with just some boring quarterlies. Let's just say it comes out with quarterlies and we're meet in the middle. They're 15% over what the expectation was, and people are like, all right, well, that's good, it's good. Palantir's still gonna go up. I mean, it's still going to go up. It's not like it's going to go down. It might sell off to like $35, but guess what it's going to do? What do you think people are going to do? They're going to start buying it up. I can only hope the Palantir goes back to $35 because guess what? I'm going to buy more because I'm here for the next 5 to 10 years. And I know Palantir is going to do what everybody else thinks and says it's going to do. It's going to go to $100. It's going to go to these crazy numbers. Yeah, it might go to $700 to $500. It may go to $1,000 a share here within the X amount of time of the future. Yes, that's a very real possibility. So listen, either way, you've got to make decisions here to stick with Palantir and just put it aside. I mean, even if you make a Roth RIA and you just put on there buy Palantir at $20 every week, and you just don't even look at it, and then maybe you come back 5 months from now and you're like, oh wow, that's really nice. I understand it. We live in a day and time right now with investors where it's really hard for investors just to leave things alone. Trust me, I struggle with it. I struggle with it. There's things that I go like, maybe I should sell out of that. And 9 times out of 10, you should just keep it. If it's a situation where like it's gonna keep running, yeah, just keep it there. And Palantir is a great example of that. A lot of AI stocks are a great example of that because, like I said before, we can't trust these AI stocks right now. We can't trust them. We can't trust them with quarterlies that they're going to come out with quarterlies that are, they're okay, they were bad. We're not seeing that right now with a lot of these AI stocks. They keep crushing quarterlies, and they're not stopping. When NVIDIA came out with their last quarterly, it was so good, people didn't even care. They didn't even care. And now NVIDIA's starting to pick back up again because we're going to be talking about their quarterlies again here soon. They're coming out with the Blackwell chip. It's all starting over again. And people don't want to miss the boat. Guess what? NVIDIA just hit an all-time high with the stock price. Dude, just relax. Like, I'm talking to myself here. I'm having a conversation with myself. When I say you can't trust these AI stocks, I hope you understand that I'm saying like, hey, they're not going to react to how other companies react that are selling goods. They're selling software. They're selling a tool. They're selling something that no one else has. Palantir, as Alex Karp has said himself, the CEO of the company, when he says, we have no competition. Let that sink into your mind for a minute. He said, we have no competition. And guess what? He's right. For what they do in the AI sector, they have no competition. So guess what? They get to take all the money. They get all the money. They get everything. They get all the chips. They take up the whole food. They take up all the food. They take up the whole dinner table. Let Palantir excite you. Let it encourage you. Don't look at Palantir like, oh, this is over. I made a video about Palantir 2 days ago. Then the stock sold off. And people were like, oh, no, it's selling. You told me to buy in. Yeah, I bought in on the dip. On the 15th and the 16th, I bought more Palantir in another one of my accounts. I bought it at $41, but still, I bought it on a dip. Now, 2 weeks from now, Palantir's at $45, $50, maybe? Do you think we'll be seeing that $41 anytime soon after that? Think about these things, friends. Think about these things. You'll start to notice trends in the market. Now, can Palantir have a bad day and go back to the 30s? Yeah, sure. Obviously, I'm kind of waiting for it. And this is why it's important to hold capital on the sideline for situations like that. You're not buying into, you shouldn't be selling Palantir just because it maybe slows down. You shouldn't be selling Palantir because, I think it's high as it can go. You shouldn't be selling Palantir because, it had a bad day. You should never sell anything like that when the company is coming out with fantastic quarterlies, when their expectations are so high, we don't know what's coming. The business model is solid. Know that. You should never sell out of a company because they have a bad day in the market. If the stock falls a little bit, look at it and go, oh, thank God, now I can get more at a cheaper price. That's when you start making money in the market. That's when you start changing your future. That is when things start to click, when you start buying things at low and not at freaking high moments. There's people that are going to buy Palantir next week. They're going to buy Palantir next week when it's probably at $44, $43, $44, maybe $45. Maybe it just annihilates all that and Palantir says, hey, I'm going to go to 47 and try to get into a $50 range here. Then people are going to start buying. Guess what? If you buy now, those people are going to make you profit. Do you want to be one of the people that are making other people profit in the future? You see what I'm saying here? Friends, I'm going to shut up now. I wish everyone the best of luck with Palantir. I'm excited as I'm like I said, I'm drinking the juice. I'm so excited about what's coming here with Palantir. These are the quarterlies we need to see. If Palantir annihilates these quarterlies, it's game on. It is pretty much, it's a green light into numbers we have not seen with Palantir. It is coming into some whole new area that we have not seen. It's going to be big numbers. Friends, take care. Bye-bye.